The Root of Nightmares contest mode took place this past weekend, starting on Friday, and moved over 48 hours, which is typically what has happened for new raids these past couple times. Granted, with Vow of the Disciple, it was an extended period due to connection, but regardless, both of them had a 48-hour period. Now that contest mode is over, I've done a few runs. I have my thoughts, my grievances, everything compiled into one video, so let's get after it. For starters, I just want to point out that this gameplay is of normal mode after the 48-hour window, meaning everything is locked at its own difficulty. I'm not locked under, I'm at my light level, and everything seems to be just dying so very easily. Moving on, I think that contest mode this time around was a joke. There was no damage walls, both bosses fell over pretty easily. The enrage mechanics didn't seem anything enticing or anything remotely rewarding from coming out of them. It felt like almost it was just a last stand for both bosses. It felt like the mechanics flowed almost like a dungeon more than anything else, and there's speculation going around that maybe this was a dungeon in the works, but instead got turned into a raid at the last minute, minus the third encounter. Regardless, we're doing this as a raid review and not a dungeon. So as a raid of a whole, I think contest mode was not the most difficult thing in the world. The raid was beaten in 2.5 hours. Congratulations to the team who actually did win. I think me and my team, we did pretty well despite starting an hour later and taking multiple breaks in between. Besides all that, I think that this raid, as a normal mode, run 3 times a week for Pinnacle gear, will be a lot of fun. Simple, clean cut, and to the point. I don't think that the third encounter has anything to do with the other 3, which is why I believe that this at one point could have been a dungeon that they just slapped an extra encounter into. I think everything is very interactive. I like how simple the raid design is as far as mechanics goes, and I do believe that the aesthetic is absolutely beautiful. Hands down, this is one of the best raids to look at, purely look at. With that being said, however, I do believe that the third encounter just simply does not belong. While it is great, it is interactive, it is unique to a lot of raids here in Destiny. I think that the planet alignment should have been a raid mechanic for some other raid, whether or not it was actually going to be Root of Nightmares and kind of the dungeon got merged into it. We're just going with that theory, by the way. Don't take too much into it. I do think that the raid in total will be fun to play each week. I know I've said that already, but I do think that the King's Fall and the Vow of the Disciple raids got stale really quick. And I think that this one, with its simplicity and its easy to access, kind of power creep into it, will be a lot of fun for the upcoming weeks, despite not having a new Pinnacle cap next season. That's right, next season we're going to be stuck at 1810 again, and that's not exactly going to be something too difficult to kind of creep around, especially with GMs having pretty much a 6-week period of waiting. Unless they release Grandmaster Nightfalls within the first 6 weeks, I don't really know what they're going to do with the first few weeks of the season. There's no Pinnacle cap to grind for. There's no Master content coming out right away unless they launch Master with the first week of Season of the Deep. So, I mean, yes, I have my concerns with the upcoming Destiny community's take on power creeps for upcoming seasons. However, I don't have my grievances with this raid. There are plenty of complicated raids in the game. Deepstone Crypt has some pretty unique designs with all 3 different little nodes that you have to pick up between scanner, suppressor, and operator. Each one has a unique, role that you have to do, but it leaves the other 3 just kind of back up or ad clear, and unless something happens to where they basically just get it deactivated every time, the ad clears pretty much do nothing. You can kind of cycle it between 4 people if you just have one backup person at all times, but for the most part, in a lot of those raids, and one of my clanmates actually pointed it out to me, you can pretty much put people in ad clear for majority of raid encounters and be fine. Except for the wall one, you actually have something to look out for in this raid. There's the Scions, there's the Tormentors in the first encounter. And can we please talk about how in the root of Nightmare, something dedicated towards Nezarec, someone who is a Tormentor himself, there is exactly one encounter with Nightmares. That is one of my huge grievances. There's only one encounter with Nightmares. I really like all the plant designs. I like the Traveler Beam, and I like the Darkness Beam, the Resonant Beam that you have to link for a lot of the encounters. But my god, did they miss a lot of just great opportunities. There could have been Nightmares. The third encounter boss could have been a Tormentor. There could have been actual Nightmare encounters. Obviously not naming Uldren Sobs or Zavalas or, the person from the Red War, Gaul. Yeah, it's been that long since we've really fought Gaul. It's pretty bad. And obviously those would have been reused assets, but the fact that he is the root of Nightmares. We didn't see a single Nightmare. There's exactly one encounter with Tormentors. They're not the best enemy to face, but they provide a much needed challenge in the game. Contest mode had 45k clears. We'll see later on how many were actually legitimate this week in a TWAB and how many were not. But 45k clears within the 48-hour window. I think it's great that the community came together and actually did that many clears. There were several that were Sherpa'd. There was within the contest mode because of the ease of use and the ease of access. And I thought that it was very fun. But I'm also a contest mode raider who enjoys a challenge. It may not have seen it on the stream, but I definitely enjoyed the challenge that it provided whenever we went through Vow of the Disciple. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, I felt like the contest mode part of it was a joke. There were too many people actually able to do it. And maybe that sounds like an elitist take, but I seriously think that something in contest is not meant for everything. It's not meant for everyone. And so basically what I'm trying to say is I seriously think that the challenge with contest mode was just not even there. Like I said, no health gates. Really, the only damage checks that we had were how much damage can we intake from Nezarec based on our resilience and our resistance. The game was more of figuring out the mechanics, and while I like that, it's heavily mechanic based. The mechanics were cut and dry, very simple. I don't mind them. Let's just keep that out there. That, this is my opinion. I don't hate the mechanics of the raid. I think that they were fun. I think that they were interactive for several people and easy to learn. It's not Symbols the Raid with Vow of the Disciple. It's not Play Simon Says with Oracles. It's not Antumbra and Penumbra with Last Wish. It's not 3 different nodes that you have to pick up and use a very specific role with. It's very simple, very easy to learn. The only issue that I had was that contest mode felt like a joke. And I hope that the reprised raid or the raid that we get in a couple seasons from now will have a better challenge on contest mode. I want that. And I mean, there was 2 people that did Last Wish on contest mode. 2 teams. There were 19 that did Spire of Stars. There were 45,000 that did this one. 15,000 within the first day. I love this raid. I can't wait to do it for the upcoming weeks. But I seriously wish that the contest mode itself would have a little bit more of a challenge to it. So let me know what you guys think of the raid after the contest itself. Let me know how much you guys want to see more rants, more thoughts after the fact with stuff like this. Or maybe some predictions and things like that. I plan on doing a lot more videos here soon now that I'm becoming more interactive here on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. And so let me know what you guys want to see down in the comments below. We do a lot of stuff here on Twitch and on YouTube. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day. Sometimes